Approximately 2,500 prophecies exist within the ancient scriptures, each chronologically built upon the previous. It is estimated that 2/3 of the scriptures have now come to pass. If the fulfillment of these foreseen changes and events were provided by a higher source, then it would suggest that the remaining 1/3 of the prophecies will also come to pass. The remaining records take place during a period called the last days, a time foretold by Jesus Christ and recorded by over a dozen authors within the ancient scriptures. It's a time that dictates monumental change, involving every nation throughout the world. These final prophecies provide hundreds of details and specific events foretelling of an unprecedented union of world relations, beliefs, and economic systems that will give rise to a new authority with influence over all global affairs. But as soon as the world achieves this new union and declares peace and safety, mankind will be on the brink of war and unprecedented destruction that is foretold to end 2/3 of the global population. But if this terrifying string of future events is to come to pass, when does it begin? Or has it already?
The Bible clearly teaches there'll someday be a global unity, eventually a one world government, a one world empire, a one world economy, a one world religion. All of these would be unified into a one world system. If these prophecies are true, there'll be radical changes, much more radical than the world has ever experienced before.
You have the predictions that the world will move towards a globalized government. It doesn't mean that the world will be one specific kingdom, but one homogeneous kingdom, a kingdom made up of all kinds of nations that cooperate together.
As the scriptures portray, the last days will not bring in a new single global nation as many imagine, but rather a new homogeneous world with superseding global authorities and laws, an unprecedented ideology that has already begun.
The world certainly seems to be headed towards globalization. The various different countries and groups and personalities seem to be working to come together in some way, shape, or form. We have whole sections of the earth that are now being united. We've seen what has happened in the European Union, the joining of the nations over there into one group. They do have someone who exercises authority. They have a court system that crosses over into the various countries and overrules and has superior authority over the various countries, something I never thought I'd ever see in my lifetime.
27 of some of the world's most influential countries, including Germany, France, and Spain, are now part of what the world recognizes as the European Union. Rather than being defined as a new single nation, these governments rather act as one and have maintained their borders, individual identities, and languages. What makes this union such an unprecedented change in political relations was the birth of a new authority, court system, and shared financial system that supersedes each individual nation, a concept that only a generation ago was unimaginable. But why is this trend in globalization occurring? Prophecy foretells that this new world will not be one enforced upon the people, but rather it would be demanded by them. Prophecies foretell that the world will believe this is the solution to establish peace and harmony.
We see these things beginning to take place. And the book of Revelation in chapter 13 lays out that these things would take place in the end times. So what we're seeing is the preparation for these things. Politically, the world is starting to agree we need to become one. We need to be united. It'll solve all of our problems.
However, according to the scriptures, this globalization will not solve the world's problems. The early stages of globalization has been creating a world in which nations and cultures can no longer ignore one another, and that in itself has helped to create an environment of increased conflict between fundamental ideologies and belief systems. Prophecy clearly states that during this early period of globalization, there will be widespread wars and rumors of war, and that peace will be removed from the earth. Much of what this prophecy foretells can be seen within the radical conflicts that have evolved into global terrorism and the constant threat of attack. It is a modern issue that now affects nearly every region on earth.